hear this. Okay, so we're going to go into day 4 today, and I think depending on where everybody's at and just kind of, yay, joy, just kind of going through their own journey. I mean, we went to UPW how long ago, right? At least like a month or 2 months. And Layla and I have been holding each other accountable to the priming. I'm highly suggesting you guys have the Facebook group for the UPW. Find somebody in there. Hold each other accountable. She's actually like the badassiest accountability partner I've ever had in my life. Like, we're priming every day. After this, I am going to do my prime. Today was crazy. We're not even going to get into all of that. I'll just tell you that my basement is flooded. That's all we need to know. So wherever we're at in our journey, I think it's pretty safe to say, like, I realized the other day, holy crap, I haven't even been blasting music in my house lately. And I think sometimes, yeah, right? I think sometimes we get like maybe a month after or 2 months after, we just get so caught up in like day-to-day stuff. And if you guys can just mute yourself as you come on, I think sometimes we just get so caught up in like day-to-day stuff that maybe we forget a little bit, you know, like all of the things that we experienced at UPW. And yeah, like, I know for me, I'm in the middle of a huge project and I'm pulling crazy hours behind this computer. I was even stopping my workouts for a second, and it's like, no. So let me just share a very quick, brief story for you that does pertain also to the day 4 stuff. I love to keep these as brief as possible. That way they're sustainable and we can apply them. That's what Tony preaches. That's what we paid for UPW for. Some of you guys, maybe you crewed, right? Or you got some, maybe you got a gift as a ticket, but either way, you invested those 4 days of your time, and that's time you'll never get back. So let's maximize on that investment. And the first thing he says, like in the very beginning of the book, is use this stuff. So that's what we're here for. I like that you guys are chatting, and I'm going to keep it close so that way I don't get too distracted. But I want to share this story with you that half dips into the insanity that's going on in my house. Yes, accountability partners. We are also digging a pool. If I were to show you what my backyard looked like right now, it looks like the apocalypse hit it. And I just finished my workout, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking first and foremost about accountability, because I sit there and I hear so many people, like, we know Linda has a personal trainer that she hired. Best accountability ever. She put some skin in the game. She's moving forward. She's being held accountable. Layla and I hold each other accountable to the priming. We're starting to see differences. So when it comes to that accountability, just having those partners, good. I'm already getting sidetracked. So again, I'm getting super sidetracked. My brain's all over the place. So I'm looking in the backyard at my pool, and it's like, why does this look so like insanely terrible? Oh my God, I'm freaking out. And then all of a sudden I saw the vision after my workout, and I was like, this is not going to be that bad forever. Like, all of this disaster and this uncomfort and this inconvenience is happening because I got a very clear glimpse all of a sudden of what the pool would look like and how it would feel to sit next to it and enjoy it. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be great. And this has never happened to me before. And I really think that this is a result of Layla and I priming. I'm not kidding. My brain was able to see, like, even when it comes to decorating, I can't see past the mess. My basement is flooded. We've had to rip up the floors. I can't see past the mess. And today, I think there's something going on with the meditation that we're doing. I was able to see past the mess of, like, I feel like I need to show you what's occurring in my backyard. I was able to see past the mess of it. I'm going to take you upstairs so maybe you can see. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is visualization. We have to visualize where we're going. Can you see? You can't even see the dirt. Can you see the piles of dirt and disaster? Yeah, okay? Those piles of dirt are like up to my head. It takes up my entire backyard. And I just I'll tell you what I can visualize is disaster. I just had a very clear visual of me face planting down the stairs, recording. See, we got to train our brain where we want it to go, right? So today, thank you, Linda. My brain, I think, was primed to see the good. We have to train our brain to see the good. And again, where I'm going with this is in the area of day 4, health. There are 2 things that he's going to say about health, and one of it is going to be, and I just want to make sure that I don't screw up his quotes, but one is the psychology, right? So that visualization, where are we going? Asbury Park Brewery, what up? I'm like 30 minutes from you. Visualize where we're going, that mindset there, and then also have the effective strategies. And that's where I was talking about, that's where I started to get distracted about the things I was thinking when I was working out. And Linda, hiring a trainer to have the effective strategies to walk forward, to help her. She's here, she's held accountable to help her stay in state with that mindset. You need the mindset, you need the strategies. We must have the mindset, we must have the strategy. So that's what we're gonna go into today and briefly just dip into when it comes to what is this day for. I'm obsessed with, like when I say I'm obsessed with food and how it kind of functions in the body, it is all because of energy. I know I used to have an autoimmune disorder called Hashimoto's hypothyroiditis, okay? It made me feel like a 90-year-old woman, and that was cured with food. That is something that food is, in my opinion, I can eat a cookie and feel like I want to go to bed afterwards, or I can eat whole foods that are not processed and not refined and feel incredible. So the first time I went to UPW years ago, when he started talking about day 4, I was like this, oh my God, oh my God. And I look at my old book and talking about acidity in the body and the accumulation of toxins. And since then, it's literally become my profession, my career, to help people eliminate this stuff, to have them experience more energy. So I do feel like it's important for us to go into day 4. Again, whatever order people are watching these recordings in, but without your health, you have nothing. And if you Google Tony Robbins Pyramid of Mastery, you will find out what is on the base of that pyramid, and you guys can guess. Alana Rockstar, I like that. If that's your real last name, that's pretty badass. I like that. You can guess that on the bottom of the Pyramid of Mastery is going to be your physical health. Because think about it, right? I know that when it comes to health, relationships, and finances, those 3 areas like dominate us, like control our world almost for the majority of people that I speak to. You can have all the money in the world, you can have an awesome relationships with whoever it is, but if your health is suffering, tell me what you have. What can you enjoy from it, you know? So I think it's pretty cool. You guys know too, if you were at the last UPW, Tony Robbins was suffering from mercury poisoning. And this man was, I would say from what I've experienced from him, his energy levels were definitely lower. And rightfully so. You have mercury poisoning, dude. Like, that's pretty awesome that you're even standing. So I think that's a testament to him and the power that he has created, his mindset, his beliefs. So let's dig into that. Page 55, if you're there, just kind of doing the intro for day 4. You guys can skip around wherever you want to with the recordings, but day 4, this is where we're at. So he goes into the 12 master principles of a vital life. And I got a little confused because I was like, wait a second, he's skipping around because there's an intro and then there's like a table of contents and then he talks about something else. So let's break it down, because I know when we're in the seminars, he doesn't go in order and we don't actually sit there and like read the stuff because we're listening to him and getting his stories. So just some of the things that I looked at, right? What's the force of transforming the quality of our lives? If that base is health, what propels us forward to great achievement and fulfillment? What drives us to train our bodies, improve our relationships, and boost our finances? So I am correct, right? Health, relationships, finances. Even though there are more things on the wheel of life or on Tony's Pyramid of Mastery, please Google it. It's awesome. It may even be somewhere in this book, but for right now, I'm just, Google is bae. So Google Tony Robbins Pyramid of Mastery. Those 3 are a pretty big deal, and like how you spend your time. But what he talks about here is what I'm personally obsessed with. The key is making sure that you are able to maintain, right? If you master those areas or you're working on those areas of relationships and finances and health, is it sustainable? Can you maintain that? If you are successful, can you maintain the momentum? I'm going to tell you right now, as a business owner who works at home from behind a computer, when I'm staring at the computer and I'm stuffing my face in the kitchen and I have zero energy, I don't get any work done, because it's just not happening. And I don't have a boss to sit there and tell me, you better. No, it just doesn't. And the energy, in order to create what we want in this life, we must have that energy, right? So I think that's where day 4, he's kind of taking all of this, is the most important factor. I'm just quoting him, and of course my dog wants to speak now. The most important factor that will help ensure you continue to take action and continue your progress is one simple power, and that is energy. I found it very interesting, and I want to bring these stats up to you because it was mentioned in this book that we spend over, collectively, $100 billion annually, worldwide, searching for a quick fix, a magic formula, something to make us look better, right? Feel better. Yet in the United States alone, 2/3 of the people are overweight. And for me personally, when I think of all of this, when I think of obesity, or I think of immediately dis-ease. And that is not to say that I look at somebody who is overweight and I go like, oh my God. It's not a judgment. It's more of a concern that comes from my personal background, where it's like, are their insides, like, are your insides okay? And it doesn't even have to be anything overweight. I'm just bringing up overweight because it's in here. I'll look at, like, I remember when my body was super acidic because I was drinking too much coffee, I would waste away. Overly thin is not healthy either. So are you looking what's going on the insides? And I think that's what he really deals with here, that I personally find fascinating, what's going on the insides. And he does talk a lot about oxygen and structure and acid, alkaline and all that. And I'll definitely get into that. That's for sure like my, if I could have a PhD in something, it would probably be that. So he wants to talk here just about the solutions, the principles, all of that good stuff that's going in. And he said something that I think is important as well to note. This program, day 4, the immersion, the things that he sells, the supplements even that he sells, right? It's about taking charge once and for all in the most important areas of your life. So all of UPW, right? I think those 3 are really great ones to focus on. Sometimes I see the whole pyramid and I get a little overwhelmed. Start with the base, right? How to revitalize and transform your level of physical health, energy, and vitality that you experience daily. Something else I want to bring up to you while I get my crying dog. There's a program that I teach where I had put the quote into my students, and I had said to them, just because you do not have a disease or a doctor, or you don't have a diagnosis. Bella wants to say hey. She's crying and she's saying hey. Just because you don't have a diagnosis or a disorder or a disease does not mean that you are necessarily healthy. One of my cousins, I think, had said to me too, like, I'm super healthy, I don't have any diseases, this and that, da, da, da. And I was like, yeah, but the food that you're eating can't possibly be doing good things to your inside. Layla loves my dog. Can't possibly be doing good things to your inside. So if we really dig into this day 4, we start to understand how the inside functions, what our body really truly needs. And I'm not talking about just food and water. And for people who are working with trainers, and I saw somebody ask a question about a coach, idea of getting a coach, one of the keys. Within the idea of getting a coach, one of the keys to obtaining and maintaining chiropractic care. Resets, yes. So that's why he even talks about nutrition, structural. How could I X this out? So structural is in there. Some of like having a chiropractor. One chiropractor once told me, guys, if you even realize how many nerve endings are in your spine, there is a reason to stretch and to move and to see a professional, right? And to have your insides working. And again, when I say, like, when we talk about proper nutrition, guys, I could teach you things that will blow your minds about how, I'm just going to dip into it real quick, how pairing a protein and a starch together, so hamburgers and French fries, or hamburger in a bun, or hot dog in a bun, or chicken and pasta, pairing together a protein and a starch, digestive nightmare. wearing away at your digestive enzymes and really, truly, I'm not going to say killing our insides, but not helping our insides and aging us way before we need to be aged. So there's a man that I work with who's like, I don't even know how old he is. I feel like he's probably in his mid-80s. And he works, Bella. He works with food combining. He helps me a lot with food combining. So that's one of the courses that I teach is talking to people about food combining and their digestive enzymes and what to do to take care of that Alana was just mentioning, right? Proper nutrition. Guys, the foods that we eat are so important. And I have to stop there because I do not want to get sidetracked. I want everybody to go on about their day and eat a yummy dinner. I'm just going to tell you right now what your dinner should consist of every single night is a protein. Unless if it's not an animal protein, then it can be like a plant-based protein, and then leafy greens, non-starchy leafy greens, and then 1 to 2 fats. And when I say fat, I'm not talking about I'm talking about olive oil maybe, or unless you're nutritarian, avocado and lemon. Oh my God, avocado. Okay, so that's what your dinners really should be. And I'm telling you that from like hardcore research standpoint. You really should not be having starches in your dinner unless like carbohydrates, unless they're coming from vegetables. So I'll give you that little tidbit right there. Is that Mark Moranza? I always see him posting beautiful things. Hello, sir. Welcome. So let's go into taking care of all of this. We're still on page 55. Just make sure as you guys come in, you try and mute yourselves. Core principles, when everything else falls into place. So that's how I kind of feel. And like another thing, I'm just going to expand on this a little bit too, because since I started going to the Tony Robbins stuff and doing all the UPWs, I will notice the difference again between just getting the crap out of my system and even having my brain and my mood function, like brain functioning better, moods better. Guys, foods are either going to cleanse you or clog you, as Tony Robbins would say, right? So that's kind of that's where I usually focus when it comes to food. So let's see what else they have going on. He also asks us to kind of take this moment right now. So let's do it and just say, you know what? We invested. We invested in this program. We're carrying it out throughout the rest of the year. We're in this course here together. We're being held accountable. On the bottom of page 55, he's saying, as you begin this program on how to create vital life and energy, let's make a commitment. So I feel like now's the time to stop and say, and then state your name, hold myself to the highest standard possible. I love it. Right? I am holding myself to the highest standard possible because I'm worth it. Because whatever it is that comes after that, put good foods into your body the same way you put good thoughts into your body. The same way, I mean, again, guys, to maximize the investment that you made, whether it be financial or time, into this program, it's definitely worth it to take a peep. And that's what we're doing. So he talks about the outcomes on page 56. Again, just reviewing because we don't always get to read this stuff when we're in the actual seminar. He focuses within this day 4, which cracks me up that it's the longest part of the book. Half of the book is page 4. I don't think that that's a coincidence that he has from page 67 to 165, 100 pages on health. 100 pages. So I, Herazi, am holding myself to the highest standard possible. I also want to let you guys know that that does not mean that we do not zag. Tony Robbins teaches us to zag, okay? You cannot and probably should not eat 100% clean. You shouldn't be freaking out over it. You shouldn't be obsessing over it, especially when you go to the UPW and the bulletproof dude is saying one thing and the Gundry guy is saying something else, right? I think I had like a half a Pop-Tart today, which for my knowledge, I know that that is pure crap. But you want to know what? 85 to 90% of the week, I'm eating vegetables galore. Our bodies are machines and are designed to detox. So I just want to give you guys the relaxation, the same thing I teach my students. Relax. Your body's a machine and will detox if you just lessen the amount of crap that you're putting in it. So if you're eating a Pop-Tart Pop-Tarts on the weekends, it's okay. Just make sure during the weekdays, you're filling it with good gasoline. A little cheap gasoline because trying to save a little money, but then majority of the time, good gasoline, good fuel to keep everything running, and eliminating is really what I took the most from day 4, is that our body is a machine. We got to lessen, you'll see he says, reduce the amount of toxins and give it what it needs. So outcomes that are coming here from our oath, right? We are learning the philosophies in day 4. We are being given tools and strategies to create maximum, optimum health, because why should we live any other way is just my personal question. I don't know. I've seen people suffer. I've seen people die. I don't understand why anybody would want that, but that's just my opinion. Disclaimer right there, okay? Right? Rather than focus on what will merely improve our health, our outcome is to give you the tools, to have the tools to optimize the quality of it, right? To have the brain, and I want us all to take note of the mood, the brain, the flexibility. I want us to take what I was saying before about the pool and seeing the visualization. Tony has something that he says is the rocking chair test, where before I heard this, I just assumed that at 80 years old, I would be hobbling in a walker, because that's what we see, and that's what we're used to, and that's what we're exposed to. However, if you expose yourself to a different model and you look at 97-year-olds that are doing yoga, and Tony Robbins, who I don't even know how old he is, jumping up and down with mercury poisoning, that is the vision that I'm encouraging us all to move towards. Create the vision that you would like to have for your health, how you would like to feel, because what's out, it's possible. You don't have to sit, I think if it's not brought up, we just assume, oh, you know, my grandmother died, my mom died at 63, my grandma died at like 80 something or 70 something, however she was, like it's subconsciously in there. Get it out. Get it out right now and create for you. Brittany, I'm not making you nervous, am I? Okay, good. And create for yourself the vision that you want and start moving towards that. If you just went through this book, go through these recordings, talk to us in that Facebook group, right? In your UPW Facebook group. I know, I'm so glad you're on. It looks like you're in some ongoing right there, everything in the backgrounds. But if we create this vision for what we want to be, so let's also, as an assignment, you guys, right? I used to be a teacher, but I think there's value in stopping, making a note and saying, after this is over, I have to prime. After this is over, what is the vision that I want to be? How old do I want to live? And do I want to be able to move? This is what Tony Robbins also calls a pull motivation. This is going to last us much longer than a push motivation. A push motivation is, oh my God, I'm fat, I need to lose some extra weight, or oh, that's what that looks like on the magazine cover, that's what I should do. That's not going to last. That's pushing you. You want to be pulled towards something, what's the word that I'm looking for? Compelling. Tony Robbins says it, create a compelling future. So please make a note right now, stop, create your compelling future. If you're on the email list for this, you guys know you're not getting spammed, right? Send me an email and say, here's my compelling future. Even better, go into the Facebook group, take a picture, take a selfie, post your compelling future. Find a snap, Google image, print it out, put it on your refrigerator or wherever in your bathroom mirror. Create a compelling future. You can create any type of body that you want as long as you, boom, put it in your head. And I'm telling you, focus on it every day, because Layla and I have probably been going now for what, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or maybe even a month priming. Not, you guys, I'm not doing a lot every day. I'm not going through Tony Robbins full priming. Some days I got 30 seconds to prime. Some days I have 10 minutes, but I'm focused on what I'm achieving and where I'm going every day, and it's making a difference. Outcome number 2, expanded choices and options, as Alana Rockstar was saying, right? Chiropractics, egoscue, nutrition, supplements, enzymes, all of these things. And that day 4 is giving us a second opinion. Why? Because, yeah, sometimes you have a trainer and listen, I work a lot with meal plans and trainers that they're telling people to pair proteins and starches for dinner. And I'm not okay with that. because I've done the research. I've learned. My dog just keeps crying. I've done the research and I've learned what's optimal digestion. Do I obsess over optimal digestion and follow it every single day? No, I don't, because I think obsessing, why is my dog wet? My dog's wet. I think obsessing over it would be ludicrous, and that would be in contrast to what we are learning here about our beliefs and our mindset. So provide you with expanded options. This might be contrary to conventional wisdom. We understand that. The goal is for a second opinion and to be able to experiment with these things. There is nothing more valuable than you experimenting with this stuff, right? And just researching, doing the research and seeing if it works for you or it doesn't. Everybody's going to be different, but there's a lot of science behind some of this stuff that you definitely want to take into account. And then, of course, empower you to take charge of your health, take responsibility for the choices that you make. These are all choices. You took an oath. You're writing down your vision. You know where you're walking towards and where you're going. So those are the outcome. To get the tools, the strategies, giving you options, creating a vision. Going on to page 59, and then we're pretty much done because I just want to expand on these things, and then we're finished. I have dinner, and you guys have things to do as well, and Bella's just freaking out for some reason. Okay, page 59. 3 master principles in sustaining success, sustainable success. The reason I'm bringing this up is because he applies these 3 principles to pretty much everything in life, and he is specifically applying them later in day 4 to health. So what are the 3 principles that will create sustainable success, and also something that he's very big on, fulfillment? I think success is, objective or subjective? It just depends on like who's defining it. I always get the 2 confused. Some people's success is earning millions of dollars a year. But again, if you're not fulfilled, what's the point? If you're not healthy, what's the point? But I think subjective is the word. It's subjective. It's everybody's opinion. So he says 3 things. Number 1, 2, 3, create the base, right? For anything to grow, you must first create a strong foundation. I'm going to use Linda as an example. She wanted to move forward in her health and fitness goals. She started taking the steps. She hired a trainer. She's got the steps going. She's creating the base, right? So I'm going to get into that a little bit more. Number 2, challenge and grow. Once you have that base in place, and when it comes to health, I believe he talks about what I just mentioned before, slowly removing the toxins. Starting to just, take out maybe processed foods. Maybe you just start, like I'll start a lot of my students with what I just told you. When it comes to dinner, just take the starches out if you can, and try and pair a protein with a leafy green and a fat, up to 2 fats. That's the first thing you could even do if you want to. That's going to start to create the base, because that's going to start to eliminate toxins from your body. Number 2, challenge and grow. Once you have that strong base in place, you have the resources to deal with the challenges and utilize them to grow. I'm going to get into this more. And then 3, celebrate and reward, because when we do kind of have that momentum going, it's almost like priming yourself. When you've created that base and you're challenging yourself and you're growing and momentum's happening, if you celebrate yourself, you're going to wire in those successful habits. Okay, we do this really well in UPW for 4 days when there's music blasting and people loving on us and hugging us and giving us high fives. And then 2 months later, we forget about the music, we forget about the momentum, we forget about the high fives and hugs. We don't forget about all of it, but the momentum stops. We got to plug back in. Now's the time to plug back in. So let's go to page 60 and let's wrap this up, okay? Necessities of life. You guys can make notes on this, that this can be applied to every area of life. Personally, right now, we're talking about health. You can put it to relationships. You can put it to finances, all those other things, okay? Number 1, create the base. For anything to grow, much less thrive, you must create a strong base. Your base will consist of 2 parts. I said this before. I'm such a teacher. I just want you to know, no matter what my voice sounds like, it's like with so much love in my heart. I'm just trying to make sure that I give you guys the best info possible and it makes sense and I'm not scatterbrained. So my voice might sound like a teacher, but it's love, trust. So 2 parts. an extraordinary psychology and mindset, right? 80% of our results are mindset, and also the effective strategies. So in order for us to have a base, we need the mindset piece and the strategies. We got that going on. I had people coming home into my house. He says, for example, in the area of health, you need a strong mental base where you are in charge of creating the beliefs and the emotions that serve you. Remember that vision. I'm going to tell you a little story right now, and you guys will love this, okay? Because this is in his book as well. Actually, it's something that he did with Deepak Chopra, I think. However long ago it was when I started to get really into like eating clean. I don't even want to say eating clean, but eating nourishing foods that supported my body. I told you that I had a hypothyroid disorder. As I learned about foods and how they heal the body and how the body functions optimally, I went to my endocrinologist. That's somebody who deals with, right, the whole endocrine system, diabetes, thyroid, all that stuff, which is very common in women. I said to the doctor, I said, listen, I know that I can heal myself. I need you to just take my blood, tell me what my levels are at, and I will fix this. And the doctor flat out laughed at me. He was an incredible doctor, but he was also trained in, you must take these medications. You have to take the levothyroxine, the Levoxyl, the Synthroid, whatever it is to balance your thyroid. And I said to him, I will heal myself. And he goes, I hate to break it to you, but that's just not possible. I said, Doc, with all due respect, I got it covered. Just take my blood and you tell me what my levels are at, and I'll take care of it. Possibly a year later, that doctor cleared me from medications for the thyroid disorder. Like, that's it, off medications. And I've been off medications since 2013, okay? So how many years are we going on? No thyroid disorder, knock on wood, thank you God, right? Food, all food is how I cured it. The reason I tell you this story is because one of the things that Tony Robbins was saying with Deepak Chopra, and right here when it comes to our beliefs, the vision we're creating, where we're going, they say, don't deny that you have a diagnosis, right? They said, doctor tells you, your blood's showing up, you have hypothyroiditis. I'm not in denial about it, but I'm going to defy the diagnosis. So I really want to submit that to you, that it's don't deny the diagnosis. You can't just sit there and say, oh, I'm not going to take my meds. I don't have it. The doctor says I have this. Or no, I don't have it. It's showing up in your blood. Could be a mistake, but you don't deny it. You defy it. So that's where you get the mindset piece, the beliefs of what you can create, what you can do, and then you need the strategies. There are strategies in this book. I can tell you that there are several people that I have seen through food and these strategies being taken off medications and totally changing their energy levels, their mood, their life, all of it. Okay? So the mindset is going to be super huge part of your base, and then also the strategies. You can hire somebody mentioned a coach. Linda got a trainer. I teach people this. There are strategies in the book. You probably have friends that can tell you these things, okay? And then you have to go and set your beliefs and do a little experiment, a little test. Everybody is different. What works for me may not work for you, may not work for that one, for this one. You are in control of this, okay? So I had to share that with you because that's part of creating the base. Number 2, we go into challenge and grow. Once we have the mindset and the strategies, that's that base, okay? That's the foundation to deal with challenges and also utilize those challenges in order to grow. So if we've set ourselves up properly, life's always going to throw something at you. It is up there on the pyramid of mastery to be growing as one of the spiritual needs. We can utilize this. Okay, I'm going to go back again with the proper psychology, the proper strategies. That's your base. Set that up, and then challenges will come. We utilize the challenges to grow. I'm going to go back to day 1 stuff. What type of meaning do you give an obstacle or a challenge? Something not having to do with health. My entire basement, just not a big flood, but we had to rip up all the floors. So now our beautiful flooring on the basement is gone, and it's left with concrete. I could have sat there, flipped out, but instead, after calming down, I did flip a little. I flipped. So you could ask Dennis. I kind of, I was not happy. I sat there and I was like, you know what? This is a good thing. This is a good thing because now if anything ever happens again in the basement floor, we won't ever have to worry about it. We have the cement, we'll make it as pretty. This is a good thing. So what type of meaning? That's a challenge. I showed you what my backyard looked like. I'm not going to take you down to the basement. I can send you pictures later, but the floors are completely ripped up. What meaning do I give it? And now I'm looking at this particular issue as this is the first house I've ever had. I really want to go back to my condo or like, just please put me in a penthouse somewhere in a high rise with a gym and some yoga instructor there and a trainer that comes in a pool and call it a day. I don't even want a house. And I was like, no, this is growing me. This is growing me. This is great. Okay. So that's that second part of challenge and grow. And I want you to apply this to health. Apply this to health. You may come into a workout program, to a trainer, to a new diet. That new diet, you might have cravings. You might be going through a detox and withdrawals. When I did Tony Robbins' Life Mastery, the first day, I barfed my brains out from the detox. Barfing, okay? He made us climb a pole. I climbed the pole. I came down and I barfed. And then I was good. Like I was detoxed. My system is fairly clean, so I detoxed way quicker than everybody else. And then I was good for the rest of the days. But you grow from those things. And I'm not saying you guys have to barf to grow, but I'm just saying when it comes to your health, you're going to check. Let's say you start lifting weights. Your muscles actually get ripped, but they grow. They tighten, they firm up, okay? So challenge and grow. Third, celebrate and reward. As you have created this base, as you are being challenged, and now you're starting to grow and expand, which will feel uncomfortable. As you're growing, it's not, even people, little kids have growing pains where their bones, like especially boys who go through puberty and their bones like grow, that stuff hurts if it happens fast, okay? Growing pains, uncomfortable. But as you get that momentum and you get your little, reward here, momentum, okay, win, you got to celebrate those small wins. Again, Layla and I celebrate every single day when we're like, boom, we did it, we're awesome, we primed. Guys, is that really a big deal? Is that like a huge deal? If you look at it to the naked eye, no. We're doing these small things every day and we're starting to see changes. Her and I are reinforcing each other every day. Like, what's up, Firestarter? We did it. Yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. Okay? And I said feck, not fuck. Now I said fuck. Linda when she hired a trainer, there has to be times that trainer's pushing you and it's not feeling amazing, right? When he's pushing you, but there has got to be the moment where like you're doing it, you got to pat yourself on the back. You have to pat yourself on the back for these forward momentums and you have to celebrate the small wins even when you're not giving yourself credit. Even when you're not giving yourself credit, because I think that's what's going to create the I want to keep going forward. This is awesome. You got to prime yourself, not just in meditation. Prime yourself all the time. Like after this call, if you do that visualization of what you want, or even after you get off, you should be like, yes, I was just on there for half an hour, whatever it was, talking with my tribe. Yeah. Celebrate that stuff so you do it again. Be proud of yourself, okay, for those things. So all momentum in life is creating by celebrating victories, even the small ones. Set yourself up to win. Don't wait to reward yourself after you've lost the 45 pounds, right? Don't wait to reward yourself after you've achieved your goal body or started your dream business or all those things. Celebrate now. It creates a deeper hunger to build an even stronger base. So if you look in that book, he's talking, right, about how it goes from the bottom and then back. So then you're creating a stronger base. I celebrate, boom, solidify that base. You guys, I've been doing nutrition for over 10 years. On this journey of working out nutrition for over 10 years, I'm not even done. But every time I learn something new, I grow from it. I've never done calls like this. You know what I mean? So it's like, this is awesome. I'm growing. It's great. You have to be celebrating those small wins. So deeper hunger, what else? What else? Triumph. In addition, raise your standards. That's part of challenging and growing as well. Raise your standards for what's possible. And your rituals and your habits necessary to make this sustainable success a part of who you are. I like that. I really want you guys to make your vision for what it's going to be like, what you're walking towards as you get more time on this planet, okay? And then last but not least, power of the human body. I think this part is just personally beautiful, right? Isn't it time you made full use of the capacity within you? Remember from that day one that Tony Robbins was talking about the courage, the faith, and all of those things that are inside of the human being. That's what Unleash the Power Within is all about. It's something that resides within all of us. So isn't it time for us to unleash that? Since we have it, it's in there. Layla just let it out. I saw it. It came out like fire. Okay? So the power of the human body, it's the same power that allows your heart to beat over 100,000 times a day without even having to think of it. I always think it's that power that, you know, my computer would die without being plugged in. My phone would die without being plugged in. But we don't get plugged in, guys. That's a big deal. I think the best way I can even say to get plugged in is when we prime. We still our mind. We focus on that gratitude. For people who haven't been priming, real quick, I'll give it to you. You do your breathing. You do your gratitude, right? Your quick breaths, your gratitude. I always call it a God scan, where I like to breathe in. Imagine that I'm being breathed in. I breathe out, give it back, breathe in, breathe out, do it 10 times, and then you focus on your achievements. Quick breaths, gratitude, God scan is what I call it, and focus and visualize your achievements. You could do that in 30 seconds a day, and then heck, you might even go a little bit longer. But that to me is also a way where when I say God scan, that's because that's how I plug in. That's what I call it. So maybe you plug into priming, and that's how you recharge yourself. But that's a pretty powerful thing to think about, right? That our lungs, our blood, like when you guys understand, for any doctors, if they understand how the body works, we are fascinating. So again, isn't it time we made full use of the capacity within us? And if it's talking about health, big deal. Big deal. I want to stop feeding my body with toxins. I want to allow it to eliminate and do its job. And I want to give my body all the things that it needs. Because the food that's out there, sorry, it's not. And what we've been taught, and I have to tell you guys again, just about the combinations. If for a very minimum at dinner, you can just take out the pasta or the bread or any of those things, right? Especially if you're having a protein. I challenge you and dare you and encourage you to just have a protein paired with vegetables and 1 to 2 servings of fats, a teaspoon or like oh, Bella, stop crying, mommy. She probably wants to go for a walk, okay? So you can read that page 61, just talking about how incredible we are, what makes us so awesome, 72 different muscles coordinating perfectly to create human speech. All of these muscles are happening. Actually, whoa, if you guys are muted right now, if you're muted, if you're not muted, then we're just going to hear you talk to yourself. But can you like say something to somebody, and as you speak, or just talk out loud and be like, I'm amazing. I have 72 muscles right now that are coordinating. Oh my God, all of these muscles are coordinating so that way I can speak. Mind blown. Think about it, right? Mind blown. I don't know how many muscles are working on Bella that she's whining. How many muscles, mommy? How many muscles? 98% water. 3-pound lump that we call our brain. Oh my God, you guys, our brain. So just take a look at page 61 just to kind of help you a little bit understand how incredibly powerful the human body is and how we have committed to giving it exactly what it needs, everything that it needs. So let's stop there. That way anybody who has to go can go. And then I'll stop the recording and I'll go get my dinner. And you guys, if you have questions, you can ask questions. So I would say goodbye to the recording and